नमोऽस्तुताय सहस्रमूर्ते सहस्रपादाक्षशरोरुभावे सहस्रनाम्ने पुरुषाय शाश्वते सहस्रकोटि युगधारिणे नमः। नमस्कार, प्रणाम और बधाई। In this evening of celebration, the charity begins at home. And I begin by congratulating myself for being given the privilege of celebrating Swamiji's historic Chicago speeches from a Hindu perspective. Despite the eternal ambiguity about what is the Hindu perspective, 125 years back, on this day, Swamiji spoke, and I quote him, "In the name of millions and millions of Hindu people of all castes and sects," he spoke. That historic statement got their strength from Swamiji's understanding of history. He said, "I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance." And he continues, "I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and of all nations on the earth." Grounded in history and science, Swamiji his understanding of Hindu spirituality had a beautiful growth. And we find that one of the finest examples of that understanding is available to us in a most succinct form in his paper on Hinduism read in the Parliament on 19th of September that year. In his comprehensive presentation on Hinduism, Swamiji asked, "Where is the common center to which all these widely diverging ready converge? Where is the common basis upon which all these seemingly hopeless contradictions rest? Where are they?" If we are looking for the Hindu perspective. The task of Hindu, or for that matter of any religion, is to see all men and women to be free, perfect, and pure being. I am quote. And in that process also get united with the ultimate reality. That is the complete vision Swamiji had. But what is the way of uniting with the ultimate? Swamiji declares in his very clear words, he says, "This is the doctrine of love declared in Vedas, and let us see how it is fully developed and taught by Krishna, whom the Hindu believe to have been God incarnate on earth." What is the prescription there? The prescription is, in Swamiji's words, "A man ought to live in this world, his heart to God and his hands to work." This is the essence of Swamiji's dialogical philosophy, where sacred and profane, mundane and the spiritual dimensions are equally cherished. Hinduism is essentially dialogical, as we know, within itself and also with other traditions. But to put that in practice, we need a Shastra. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karyakar Vyavasthato. So where is the Shastra for that dialogical Vade Vade Jayate Tattva Bodha, etc., etc.? Where is the Shastra? And we in India have a huge tradition of Shastra being presented to us in the sutra form. Whether it is Kama Sutra or whether it is Yoga Sutra, whether it is Brahma Sutra, or whether it is Bhakti Sutra. There is a whole tradition of giving the quotes, the essential quotes to us, the Sutra literature. And in that perspective, we should congratulate ourselves. The whole humanity should congratulate ourselves that we, the people of all faiths and traditions, we should celebrate that Swami Vivekananda, in the form of Chicago lectures, provided us with the Samvada Sutra, the code of dialogue. The code of dialogue. The Dialogue Sutra, which I call, takes us in a different little direction, not to Chicago, but to my own place from where I come, Vrindaban, the land of Krishna. And the story of Vrindaban, available to us today, begins in the 16th century, in the beginning of 16th century. 1515, heavily persecuted, religiously persecuted Bengali, who had taken shelter in a Odia kingdom, had traveled with tremendous difficulties to up north from the eastern part of the country, reached Mathura. He was searching for his dear Krishna's Leela Bhumi, Vrindavan. For total dismay and disbelief, this gentleman, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was no Vrindavan. Vrindavan was available all over in history, in literature, in dance and drama and art forms. Vrindavan was very live. But there was no geographical, administrative collateral to the word Vrindavan. There was no physical Vrindavan in 1515. But he did not give up. He identified an arid piece of land infested with wild boars. Tomorrow is the Baraha Jayanti anyway. And he said, this is my Vrindavan, which is right in the middle of the marching route of the invading armies from Delhi to Agra. Right in the middle of that, in the eye of the storm. He identified this place to be Vrindavan, which nobody else dared before Chaitanya. Ramanuj had his different Vrindavan, Madhva had his different Vrindavan, Nimbar and Vallabh. They all had their safer Vrindavans. But in the eye of the storm, Chaitanya put his finger and says, this is my Vrindavan. And to resurrect Krishna and Vrindavan, he selected a team of 6 people, out of which 3 came from Muslim background, Sakar Malik, Kabir Khas and Anupam Malik, who later on we know as Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami. They had Muslim background. 2 royal priests, Brahmins, and 1 from a non-Brahmin caste. 6 like this. The dialogue system began under the guidance of Chaitanya, and in this there were 3 very interesting and diverse partners of dialogue. The Goswamis, under the direction of Chaitanya, representing the religious core group. Then their disciples, the rulers of Rajasthan, the Rajput kings, who were inspired by these Goswamis, they were also part of this dialogue. And the other end was the imperial Mughal court in Delhi and Agra. And this tripartite dialogue took form. Religion and politics, they are the 2 partners of this dialogue in this, Goswamis and the Rajputs and the Mughals, the political powers. Hindus and Muslims. Very interesting dialogue going on. And Swamiji in Chicago, he mentions Akbar's Council of Religions, very interesting. So what was this council doing? The council was engaging with these 6 Goswamis. And the result was, in 1598, Akbar promulgated a royal decree under which Vrindavan became a reality as a separate revenue entity. Amazing fact of history. Amazing fact of history. So an era, what happened then? When Vrindavan comes, and when this almost a century-long dialogue between the Hindu and Muslim, the religious and the political powers. What is the result? Result is amazing. The 16th and the first part of the 17th century is the golden period of Indian history in North, at least, where there's a tremendous boom of economic prosperity, literary creativity, art, dance, music, architecture, sculpture, paintings, you name it, philosophy. Everything is booming. Why? Because dialogue had taken place. Dialogue is the key. Dialogue is our predicament. There's no other. That Vrindavan was also, interestingly enough, down the centuries, was his Guru Thakur's favorite. He did his sadhana there in Vrindaban and many places. We know how he used to even become like a gopi in Vrindavan for enjoying the gopi power. He recommended Ma Sarda that after I leave this world, you have to spend your life in Vrindavan, not in Belur. And for that order, Ma lived in Vrindavan for 1 year. Swamiji forced her to come back, but again she came back to Vrindavan. That was the value in Thakur's eye for Vrindavan. And he asked Vivekananda also to go to Vrindavan and do his sadhana there. So why this Vrindavan is a converging point, right from Krishna to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Thakur to Ma to Swamiji? Why Vrindavan is the convergence? We all know Vrindavan popularly is the Leela Sthali of Radha and Krishna. There is not much doubt about it. But that is not what makes Vrindavan the blessed Vrindavan. There is something else. And that's why all these people are converging. Right from heavens, from Belur Math to Odisha to everywhere. That is something, the secret is different. The glory of Vrindavan comes from the fact that bhakti dances there alive. Dhanyam Vrindavanam tena bhakti nityati yatraja. That's why Vrindavan is dhanya, not because of Radha and Krishna or any other. So like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Thakur, Swamiji realized that the world cannot sustain itself without bhakti, without seva, without service. Bhakti bina jagatere nahi avastha. This world will not sustain even 1 second if the service is not in function. And we cannot elaborate that. And with that viewpoint, Ramakrishna Mission becomes Sevashram. It becomes the institute of service. Institute of service. And one of the earliest institute under the inspiration of Swamiji came in Vrindavan in 1907, one of the earliest Sevashrams. And this bhakti or seva or service from Swamiji's point of view is twofold. Service to humanity, where the Narayan is, who is Narayana? Rogi is Narayana. A sick person is the Narayan, and he deserves your utmost bhakti. And the other dimension of bhakti is love to God. What is this love? Dhari Akshar Prem Ka? Who knows it? What is this love? Swamiji emphasizes at Chicago, and I quote him, "It is good to love God for hope of reward, but it is better to love God for love's sake." And the prayer goes on, and he uses Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's words. He says, "Lord, I do not want wealth, nor children, nor learning. If it will be thy will, I shall go from birth to birth." I don't want freedom from birth. I want birth after birth. I seek birth after birth. What do you seek? But grant me this that I may love thee without the hope of reward, love unselfishingly for love's own sake. न धनम न जनम न सुंदरीम कविताम वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनेश्वरे भगवतात् भक्ति अहेतुकीत्वयि. And if Chicago lectures were the Samvada Sutra, Swamiji's life was a beautiful commentary on that code book of dialogue. And even in this evening we have seen all these esteemed scholars have been basing on those sutras for Swamiji and has made this evening so beautiful. And I just conclude that in this evening of celebration, we, and especially Hindus, can congratulate ourselves only if we are free from bigotry, sectarianism, and fanaticism. A constant introspection, self-review, and correction is the strength of any culture or tradition for that matter. Here and now in this room, to assure Swamiji that upon the banner of our religion will soon, still there, he is giving you some time, will soon be written in spite of resistances, help and not fight, assimilation and not destruction, harmony and peace and not dissension. If we can resolve to commit ourselves to Swamiji's wish, that will be our true homage this evening. आप सबको पुनः प्रणाम और स्वामी जी के चरणों में